Hey everyone, here today we're going to look at my Trace Elliot Series 6 GP12 AH600X. This is a monster of an amplifier. These were professional grade amps in their day, some of the top of the line of the Trace Elliot Series 6 range. So we're going to take a look at the features, and we're going to take a look inside the amp and just see exactly how it all works. Okay, AH600X. First thing to note is here in this little window, it should say AH600X, but mine is missing or worn off because of the age of this amplifier. It's an early 90s amplifier. We'll get the exact dates when we get inside it. You can see here pretty standard controls for a Trace Elliot. We've got the input gain with the LEDs to get the optimum level. Passive and active separate inputs. We've also got a noise reduction switch there as well. Okay, and then you can see we've got a graphic in switch, a switch for the mid pre-shape tone, and a foot switch input on the front there. Okay, so we've got the graphic section, the 30 Hertz, got a red cap. I've got one that's snapped off here. I've seen that on a lot of amps. That's probably how it was stored. We then move on to the graphic level. Again, that's snapped off but still works. DI out, pre or post EQ, again standard features on a Trace. Effects send and return, and we've also got a line in and out on this one as well, and headphones. Why on earth you'd want headphones on an amp of this size, power, magnitude, I do not know, but the feature is there, so you've got enough power to blast a stadium, or you can sit in your bedroom with your headphones on. Very interesting. And then along the front here we've got the UV light, which obviously lights up this beautiful green effect paint on the front there that we all know and love. Okay, looking at the side of this cabinet, you can see we've got feet on the side of it as well. So when you're lifting it out of the car, because it's so damn heavy, you can put it down. You get a handle on each side as well. There's some significant weight in this thing. You can see this one's been well used. It's really knocked about in the cabinet. At some point I might try and refurbish this one, but at the moment just happy to own it and love the way it sounds. Okay, so on the back here you can see the AH600X. Now 600 because it's 600 watts RMS power, and X because it's got this crossover built in, which we're going to have a look at in a minute over here. Right, we've got a switch there for the front UV light and the main power input. Look, we've got two channels here, channel A and channel B, both with separate level controls. And then look, there's a crossover frequency there as well. You can operate it as a mono or a stereo amp. You can bi-amp it, you can have it full range. Lots of options. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about this bi-amp feature. So the idea is that you can send the high frequencies of the signal to one speaker cab designed for high frequency, and the low frequencies to another. And you've also got a level control for each, which means you can balance those signals up, or you can make one louder than the other. And the frequency at which they cross over is adjustable in the middle there. So So you got that full range switch there, so that's really where you either send exactly the same signal to both cabs, or you're doing the crossover split. So that's sort of the idea behind it. Like I say, I don't have a need to use that. The sort of gigs I do, I only take one cab anyway. But it is very interesting, and Trace had these even from some of the earlier amps. They used to have these crossovers on the top of the range amps in the Series 5 GP11s, for example. So it's something that Trace did for a long time. It's obviously very popular. Okay, so again, if you're doing live stadium gigs, you might have wanted multiple amplifiers. So you can use that line out to daisy chain these things together, so you can get the signal going into multiple amps, which is really nice. So, if you've got 2 amps up on stage, maybe one as a backup, but it may be that you just got 2 running for all that volume, or even more. You can do that, just have the one guitar signal going into one amp and then just chain the amps together. So again, if you're into loud, Trace gives you loud. Okay, so this is the bottom of the amp. So you can see here the plastic caps. And one there. For example, this is where the screws are that hold the thing in. So unlike the SMs and SMXs, they're on the top, but this thing's so heavy, they're screwed into the bottom. So I'm going to take those out and we'll take a look inside. Okay, so we've got the amp open. That took a bit of work. You can see the UV light here on the front. Now I must say that I've looked in catalogues, I haven't seen this 600X, but I have seen the 500X, which was manufactured, I think, before these. It was in like a composite type shell, whereas this one's wooden with the Tolex on. But you can see here, this was made in 1992. See, 25th of the 9th, 92. Here's the actual build sticker. I'm going to spin around. Let's spin around. Okay, 1st to the 10th, 92. There are the various people involved. It's a GP12 Mark 6 issue 4. No, it's not. Yeah, it is. Mark 6. So basically Series 6. They called everything the Mark until Series 6. But obviously on the board they've put Mark 6, so that's again quite interesting. So here you'll see 2 power sections, so 2 power amps there. So they're going to be 300 watt RMS, 600 watt peak each. So this thing is going to be 1200 watt peak, which is insane, right? Look at the size of those capacitors in the middle. I'll just show my finger there in comparison. I've got very small fingers, but you can see these things, pretty huge. So then over in the corner here, an enormous transformer will give us all that power that we need. And the crossover board. And you'll notice on here somewhere, let's fix it there, AH500X issue 2. So obviously they did the 500X first, so we used that, but we've got more power in this amp, so that's interesting. The CB there, by the way, that's most likely going to be for Clive Button, who was one of the designers. he would have designed this, and he always put his initials on the boards, so, or his name, so that's going to be one of his, I would think. A little transformer for the lamp down there as well. It all looks pretty original. I know this has been repaired because the guy that I bought it off was actually electronics repair guy, and basically he was given it because somebody owed him some money, so he fixed it, sold it to me for cheap. Anybody that watches my channel knows that I try and get everything as cheap as possible. But yeah, there we go. Let's try and get get the view of the whole thing. Inside the GP12 Series 6 AH600X. So a lot of gear to give us a lot of power. Surprised we've only got the single fan here. It is a big one, bigger than some of the other Trace Elliots that I've seen. What else we've got here? See that? That's a starter for that lamp on the front. So very much like your fluorescent tubes you get at home or in a factory. You've got a little starter there for that lamp at the front. So if your lamp doesn't work, check that. That might be the problem, not the bulb. Okay, well, thanks guys for watching my video on the trusty AH600X amp. We could plug it in and see how it sounds, but obviously it's not going to come out on YouTube. You're just going to hear the sound of your speakers, not really the sound of the amp, so it's probably not worth us doing that. I might just power it up to show you the light, because we all like UV lights, don't we? Okay, so we're powered up. Massive capacitors, don't touch those. In fact, definitely do not power these things up without the case on yourself. I would say it would be highly dangerous. Those caps are going to have a massive charge in them. 10,000 microfarads each, those are. That transformer, you're going to get a massive shock off that if you touch it. And again, you're going to have some reduced power come to this light, but again, I won't be messing too much. So I'm just going to carefully switch the lamp on. You'll see there's my nice UV light. So beautiful piece of machinery. I'm really proud of owning this one. I won't be selling it, and I may well refurbish it in the future. If you've got any ideas around refurbishment, let me know. You know, or indeed if you've refurbished a cabinet yourself, and you've got any tips for getting hold of the toe legs and how you measure and fit that, then yeah, I'd be really interested. So let me know. Right, well, thank you for watching. If you did enjoy this, I'll be making more videos. You can see I've still got a few of my traces here to go through and take apart. So consider hitting that subscribe button or the notify icon, or both, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much.